Okay, so we'll start with bacteriology. Everyone, can you all hear me? Am I audible? Yeah. So here I provide you a picture of the gram stain for your understanding. So in bacteria, before going to further classifications and all, I want you to cover some basics so that quickly we can see the basics and you will get an understanding of what we are dealing with. So gram staining is nothing but to know is it a positive or negative. So every bacteria say that gram positive or negative, it comes in that category. So in gram staining, so initially we use a crystal violet dye. So when we use a crystal violet dye, let it be gram positive, let it be gram negative, it's going to stain the same color. So after that we treat with iodine and decolorize it. At that point gram negative loses its color, whereas gram positive does not lose its color. And then we add a counter stain, safranin. So since gram positive did not lose its color, it retains the same violet color, whereas violet or blue color, whereas gram negative is colorless for the meantime, so it picks up the safranin dye. So at the end it is safranin or red in color, gram negative, whereas gram positive is almost violet to blue in color. So this is how it is. Now the reason this is happening is, if you look at the peptidoglycan layer which is given here, gram positive has a thicker peptidoglycan layer compared to gram negative. Okay, so it retains the color very well. So that is the main difference I want you to emphasize on. Then gram negative has an outer membrane, whereas gram positive does not have an outer membrane. If you at least know these 2 points, that should be fine enough. Okay, a thicker peptidoglycan layer for gram positive. In gram negative, a thinner peptidoglycan layer. Outer membrane is present in gram negative. Outer membrane is not present in gram positive. At least these 2 points, if you remember, that should be fine enough. Okay. Okay. So the bacteria will have 2 types of toxins. One is exotoxin, another is endotoxin. So exotoxin is what is present inside. Endotoxin is its membrane itself. So when the bacteria breaks and the membrane separates into small pieces, fragments, those will serve as endotoxin. So if you know that one point, that should be fine. Then based on their need of oxygen, based on their oxygen requirement, bacteria is broadly classified into obligate aerobe, obligate anaerobe, facultative anaerobe, facultative aerobe, aerotolerant anaerobe, microaerophilic, and capnophilic. So I'll come from the bottom. Capnophilic is carbon dioxide loving. So you have to remember Brucella is capnophilic. Brucella is a bacteria that is carbon dioxide loving. Okay. So obligate means strictly they need oxygen. So aerobe means they need oxygen. Anaerobe means they don't need oxygen. So when we grow this in culture, so for obligate aerobes, you have to, in that culture, there has to be some air in that. That's very essential. Whereas in obligate anaerobe, that culture material should be devoid of air. That is very important. Okay. So facultative is the opposite way of obligate. So obligate aerobes are going to be facultative anaerobe. Obligative anaerobes are going to be facultative aerobe. Obligate anaerobe is going to be facultative aerobe. So that's just the opposite of it. So facultative anaerobe obviously means they need oxygen. Facultative anaerobe actually needs oxygen. Facultative aerobe does not require oxygen most of the time. Okay. Then finally, microaerophilic, forget about the aerotolerant. Even in small amount of oxygen, they can grow. That is aerotolerant. Microaerophilic means at reduced concentration of oxygen or without oxygen, they can grow. That is microaerophilic. So that still comes under obligate anaerobe. But obligate anaerobe is total absence of oxygen, they can grow. Whereas microaerophilic can grow in maximum low concentration of oxygen. So these are the different types. So there are a lot of examples. Let's not talk about the examples now. Then there's something called bacterial growth curve. I would like to show this because there's a chance of getting a picture of it. Here is the picture of bacterial growth curve. So a curve would be given to you, which will have something called a lag phase and a log phase, and finally a stationary phase, which will be followed by a death phase. So it's simple. The beginning of the growth, the peak of the growth, the maintenance of the peak of the growth, and then the death. So that is these 4 phases. If you know these 4, that should be fine. So what is essential from this for your MCQ is lag phase. I said beginning of the growth. So increase in number, increase in size, maximum cell size happens in lag phase. Log phase means biochemically active. This one point I want you to remember. Biochemically active. And exponential growth happens in log phase. Exponential growth. So log phase is also called as exponential phase. Stationary, we know it is stationary. So cell division halts. So that is stationary. Phase of decline is phase of decline. So there is decrease in counts. Okay. So these are the MCQs that you need to know about bacterial growth curve. I repeat, lag phase means everything is increasing. Log means growth just explodes like anything and it is biochemically active. Stationary is a halt, just everything stops. Decline means decline, it is going to decrease. So these are the 4 points that you need to know here. So just this is what I wanted to say before starting of anything. Okay. So then comes based on the shape, the bacteria could be round in shape, that is cocci. So they can be cocci, COCCI, that is round in shape, or it can be rod shape, that is bacilli, or it can be spiral shape, that is spirochete. So basically these 3 points you need to know: cocci, bacilli, spirochete. If you know these 3, that should be fine. Okay. So we'll directly start with bacteriology, that is given in the QRS. Okay. So we saw about gram positive and gram negative. Here is a list of organisms which are gram positive and negative. First, we'll talk about the cocci in gram positive. So gram positive cocci means it can be Staphylococcus, Micrococcus, Peptococcus, Streptococcus, and Enterococcus. So this is what we need to observe, out of which you can ignore this Micrococcus and Peptococcus. You can ignore this Peptostreptococcus. You need to know cocci means we are talking about Staphylococcus, Streptococcus, and Enterococcus. Staphylococcus, Streptococcus, and Enterococcus. And in bacilli, it could be club shaped, it could be spore bearing, it could be filamentous. So club shape means all these organisms: Corynebacterium, Listeria, Erysipelotrix, you don't need to know. Mycobacterium, Propionibacterium, I don't think so, you will need to know. So Corynebacterium, Listeria, Mycobacterium, these 3 you need to know. Spore bearing means Bacillus clostridium, you need to know. Filamentous means they could be branching or they could be rudimentary. So branching is going to be Actinomyces. Arachnia, you don't need to know. Nocardia, Streptomyces, and rudimentary or absent is Erysipelotrix, Lactobacillus, Eubacterium. So here at least you need to know Lactobacillus. Here Streptomyces, if you don't know, that's fine. So Actinomyces, Nocardia is extensive branching filamentous, and Lactobacillus is filamentous. These three. So I repeat, cocci means Staphylococcus, you need to know. Streptococcus, Enterococcus, you need to know. And club shape means you need to know Corynebacterium, Listeria, and Mycobacterium. Bacilli means, Bacilli spore bearing or Bacillus and Clostridium. Filamentous means these three: Actinomyces, Nocardia, and Lactobacillus. These three. So these organisms you should know for your exam. Then comes gram negative, same like that cocci bacilli are there. So cocci is Neisseria veillonella. I don't think so. That's a question for your MCQ. So bacilli is important. Gram negative means bacilli you need to know. So in bacilli, you have medium-sized coccobacilli like Acinetobacter and Moraxella. Both are important. Tiny coccobacilli like Brucella, Bordetella, Bacteroides. They are also important. Then pleomorphic coccobacillary and filamentous, you have a long list. So Haemophilus, Bacteroides, Pastorella, Francisella, Actinobacillus, Eikenella, Cardiobacterium, and Flavobacterium. So here you can ignore Cardio, Flavo, Eikenella. You can ignore Francisella, Pastorella. So you need to remember Haemophilus, Bacteroides, Actinobacillus. At least these three you must remember for your exam. Exaggerated pointed ends can be seen in Fusobacterium nucleatum. You can ignore that, that's fine. Coiled and spheroplastic Streptobacillus and Fusobacterium. So this also in Fusobacterium you can ignore. Streptobacillus alone you can remember, but that might confuse you with gram positive. So that also if you ignore that is fine. Then curved or comma shaped means Vibrio, Campylobacter, Spiralium. Spiralium will not appear in FMG examination. So Vibrio, Campylobacter is important. Uniformly bacillary means Enterobacteriaceae, Pseudomonas, Aeromonas, Alkaligens, and Chromobacterium. You can ignore Aeromonas, Alkaligens, and Chromo. So Enterobacteriaceae and Pseudomonas are important. So overall, if you see, if you take for the gram negative, whatever I mark is important. Acinetobacter and Moraxella is important. Brucella, Bordetella, Bacteroides is important. Haemophilus, Bacteroides, and Actinobacillus is important. Vibrio, Campylobacter is important. Enterobacteriaceae, Pseudomonas is important. So only these names you must remember for your examination. Only these names. Okay. Why I'm saying this now is it's a direct question. If you get a case, for example, a clinical case with, for example, a patient with dysentery, just like that, a patient with dysentery. In exam clue, they are giving that this is a gram negative bacilli. That is the clue they are saying, and you are having the options wise. You are having Listeria as an option. You are having Bacillus as an option. You are having Actinomyces one cause Bacillus. So Lactobacillus you are having as an option, and Vibrio is an option. So directly you can go for Vibrio because you know none of them are gram negative. All those options that was provided are gram positive organisms. So that is where your smartness will revive in the examination. So make sure whatever points I told here you must memorize, and repetition of these points are essential. I hope I'm clear here. Now directly jumping to the organisms. So from here we'll be seeing only organisms and their drugs. So I'm not going to talk about drug of choice because in pharmacology we talked about drug of choice. Let's not confuse with here. So you will have to study drug of choice clearly. So from pharma and micro you must combine and study. That's a must. So now the first organism we are going to talk is Staphylococcus aureus. Staphylococcus aureus, the morphology is important. Yellow pigment, pink colony and pinhead colony. Can everyone hear me? Am I audible? Yeah. So morphology wise, Staphylococcus aureus means pinhead colony, pink colony, and golden yellow pigment. Diseases, it causes a lot of diseases. So abscess, furuncle, cellulitis, acute osteomyelitis, food poisoning, boils, psychosis barbae, post-op parotitis, paronychia. So for Staphylococcus aureus, I will give you one mnemonic where you can remember everything. Yeah, the mnemonic is A, B, C, Prime Minister, PM. A, B, C, Prime Minister, PM. So A is for aureus, Staphylococcus aureus. A is for abscess. Any abscess, you have to remember Staphylococcus aureus. Acute osteomyelitis, A is for acute osteomyelitis. The same you can remember for B, that is bone. B is for bone. Okay. A is for abscess. A is for acute osteomyelitis. The same acute osteomyelitis can also be in bone. B is bone. B is for boils. B is for barbae, psychosis barbae. A, B, C, PM. C is for cellulitis. C is for cellulitis. A, B, C. C is for kharab stomach. So I write kharab stomach, which means stomach is gone. Stomach is totally upset. Kharab stomach. So which is food poisoning. C is for food poisoning. Okay. And then PM. P is for a lot of things. Pinhead colony. P is for pink colony. P is for paronychia. P is for post-op parotitis. Okay. And M is for mannitol salt media McConkie agar. So ABCPM covers almost everything. ABCPM covers almost everything. Okay. After this, ABCPM, you must remember yellow. Yellow. So L stands for Ludlam media. Y stands for yellow. So golden yellow pigment. L is for Ludlam media. Yellow. Okay. ABCPM yellow covers everything. I hope this is clear. So that's it about Staphylococcus aureus. Staph aureus is a huge topic. So you need to know almost any bone infection, any abscess in our body is going to be Staphylococcus aureus. Any bone infection, any abscess. Almost 90% it is Staphylococcus aureus. So in that point you need to be very clear. So it is not limited to only this. So you need to be very clear. So here for Staphylococcus aureus, I write here A, B, C, P, M, L. So L, A, B, C, P, M, L. So if you remember this mnemonic, that should be fine enough. A, B, C, P, M, L. I write again here A, B, C, P, M, L. Okay, A, B, C, P, M, L. Now going to the next one, Streptococcus pyogenes. Streptococcus pyogenes means you must remember blood agaricus pinpoint colonies. Pinpoint colonies, pharyngitis, skin infection, toxic shock syndrome. Toxic shock syndrome. Streptococcus pyogenes, pinpoint colony, pharyngitis, skin infection, toxic shock syndrome. Okay, so pyogenes, one point I want you to remember is P, P, P. P is for pyogenes, P is for pinpoint colony, P is for pharyngitis. So this is very important. Okay, then I want you to remember sore throat. Sore throat. Pharyngitis causes sore throat. So sore throat means they have a S. You need to remember skin infection. They have a T. You need to remember toxic shock syndrome. Toxic shock syndrome. PPP, sore throat. So P, sore throat. Okay, pyogenes P, sore throat. I hope this is clear. Going to the next one, Streptococcus agalactiae. So this shows butterfly zone of hemolysis and Streptococcus agalactiae causes neonatal meningitis. You need to remember the most common cause of neonatal meningitis is not Streptococcus agalactiae, it is E. coli. E. coli is the most common cause of neonatal meningitis. That is MCQ. E. coli. E. coli is the most common cause of neonatal meningitis. So right here, strep pyogenes, P, sore throat. Here in Streptococcus agalactiae, butterfly zone of hemolysis and neonatal meningitis. So I want you to remember for agalactiae, I want you to remember baby butterfly. Baby butterfly. Baby butterfly. So baby is for baby, neonatal meningitis, butterfly is for butterfly zone of hemolysis. So I hope you will be able to remember this point. Then strep equisimilis. Streptococcus equisimilis. It causes mucoid colonies. It causes pharyngitis, endocarditis. Okay, and penicillinous drug of choice. Okay, fine. So mucoid colonies, pharyngitis, endocarditis. So equisimilis, one point I want you to remember, endocarditis. Equisimilis is for endocarditis. Equisimilis, endocarditis. Okay. Then Streptococcus viridans. Viridans is oval shaped. Dental caries, it causes dental caries and late prosthetic valve endocarditis. Late prosthetic valve endocarditis. Streptococcus viridans causes late prosthetic valve endocarditis. This is very important point. Oval shaped dental caries, late prosthetic valve endocarditis. Okay, so Streptococcus viridans, I want you to remember the brush. Oral B is a brush. Oral B is a brush, right? So Oral B, you can remember oval shaped. The brush is used for tooth. So dental caries, you can remember. Dental caries, you can remember. So I want you to make Oral B. So you went to buy Oral B toothpaste or Oral B toothbrush, but after going to shop and there was a lot of crowd, so you came back home late. You went to buy Oral B, there was a lot of crowd in the shop, you came back late. I want you to remember, it might look silly, but this will definitely help in your examination. So you need to remember that Oral B, that is a toothbrush, which means dental caries. So dental caries, oval shaped, late. So late is for prosthetic valve endocarditis. Prosthetic valve endocarditis. Late prosthetic valve endocarditis. This is very important. Then comes Enterococcus. So Enterococcus, bile acculine agar is used. Spectacle-like appearance and black colonies is seen. Biliary tract infection is seen. Endocarditis and UTI are seen. So I want you to remember sorry. Yeah. So we are talking about Enterococcus. So I want you to remember Enterococcus means Enterococcus means endocarditis and eyeglasses. Endocarditis and eyeglasses that we use. Endocarditis, eyeglasses. So E for endocarditis, E for eyeglasses. That is spectacle-like arrangement. Spectacle-like appearance. Endocarditis, I want you to remember B, B, B. The first B is for bile acculine agar. The next B is for black colonies. The next B is for biliary tract infection. So 3E and 3B. So this is what you are going to remember. So E and B. Enterococcus, E and B. I hope I'm clear here. So I repeat, Enterococcus, bile asculin agar, black colon is biliary tract infection, eyeglasses like appearance, spectacle like appearance, endocarditis. Okay, then the next one is Streptococcus pneumonia. See, right now I'm making short mnemonics for you. So right now in the class itself, you must memorize the complete microbiology, no matter what. So Streptococcus pneumonia, blood agar is used, flame-shaped carom coin appearance, capsulated appearance. It causes meningitis, sinusitis, bacteremia, otitis media, and pneumonia. Meningitis, sinusitis, bacteremia, otitis media, and pneumonia. For this, you can remember. Just give me a moment. Yeah. Okay. So we're talking about Streptococcus pneumonia. I want you to remember a picture as an idea. So I'm not that good in drawing. So remember, this is a person with Streptococcus pneumonia. So his name is Mr. P. Pneumonia. So obviously lungs will be affected, right? Pneumonia. His ears are affected, otitis media. His brain is affected, meningitis. Okay, his sinuses are affected, sinusitis, otitis media, meningitis, pneumonia. Okay, and this guy is holding a light, the Olympic torch. This guy is holding an Olympic torch. This flame has fell on his hands. So on this place there was burns and infection. So this infection you must remember. So infection will travel in blood and it is affecting him. So that is bacteremia. In other hand, this guy is playing. So this guy is playing in the right hand. The other hand, he is playing a carom board. He's playing on a carom board. So you need to remember carom coin appearance. You need to remember flame shaped. He's holding a flame torch. Flame shaped. He got injury. So there is a bacterial infection happens. So bacteremia. His lungs are affected with pneumonia. His brain is gone with meningitis. He can't hear anything because otitis media. His sinuses are affected. Sinusitis. So this picture, if you remember, the entire Streptococcus pneumonia will be in your hands. I hope I'm clear here. Is everyone clear till now? Can everyone hear me clearly? I think someone not hearing. So I'll repeat. So this is a guy. This is a guy who is holding. One second. So this is a guy who is holding fire. So flame shaped. He's playing carom board. So carom coin shaped. His lungs are affected. His brain is affected. His sinuses are affected. His ear is affected. So otitis media, meningitis, sinusitis, pneumonia, and he is having infection also, bacteremia, bacterial infection, bacteremia. So you must remember all these points from just this one image. Okay. Next is Bacillus anthracis. So Bacillus anthracis means you must remember. Yeah. Okay. Bacillus anthracis means you must remember the different dyes. That is polymyxin, lysozyme, ethylene dioxide, and tetraacetic acid. So these are the different culture media that is used. And then it has a medusa head appearance, inverted fir tree appearance, string of pearls appearance, bamboo stick appearance, and McFadden reaction. So Bacillus anthracis basically causes anthrax. So I want you to remember this with the image again. Okay, so we'll be talking about Bacillus anthracis. The image that you need to memorize is medusa head appearance, the head of snakes, medusa head appearance, inverted fir tree appearance, inverted fir tree appearance. He's wearing a string which is made of pearls. She, like, we can make it as a she. She's wearing a string that is made of pearls, string of pearls appearance. She is standing near a car. She's standing near a car that is box car appearance. Box car appearance. She's seeing in one hand, she's seeing a mirror and she's facing herself. Just a moment. So she's facing a mirror. That is called frosted glass appearance. This is frosted glass appearance. Frosted glass appearance. There is a guy sitting in the car and waiting for her. That guy name is McDonald. Remember McDonald? So it's McFadden reaction. McDonald. So he's sitting. This car is, you can remember, Ford. So McFadden reaction. Someone's audio is on. Please turn it off. So McFadden reaction, frosted glass appearance, medusa head appearance, inverted fir tree appearance, string of pearls appearance. This is string of pearls appearance. This is a car. This is box car appearance. Is McDonald sitting in a Ford car. So McFadden reaction. So these are all the reactions you need to know. So her legs are like stick. You can remember bamboo stick appearance. Bamboo stick appearance. Bamboo stick, frosted glass, box car, McFadden reaction, string of pearls, and medusa head, inverted fir tree appearance. So if you remember this picture, all those points would be covered. Am I clear here? Am I clear in this? Yeah, very good. I won't be stressing like this for every topic, but bacteriology is something students often get trouble to memorize. So these are just small ways you can memorize these topics. Okay, going further, next is Bacillus series. So Bacillus series has the media or MIPA, that is mannitol, yolk sock, polymyxin, and phenol red. This mnemonic is MIPA, MYPA. This is for Bacillus series, MIPA. So the colonies that are seen as crenated colonies. Food poisoning is caused by Bacillus series. So food poisoning within 6 hours, food poisoning less than 6 hours can be either Staphylococcus aureus or Bacillus series. Only these two, if you get this in exam. So if the patient had meat or milk, it's going to be Staphylococcus aureus. If the patient had Chinese fried rice, it is going to be Bacillus series. That's it. So meat or milk means Staphylococcus aureus. Chinese fried rice means Bacillus series. Straight point in MCQ. I repeat, food poisoning less than 6 hours after consuming meat or milk means it is Staphylococcus aureus. Food poisoning less than 6 hours after consuming Chinese fried rice means it is Bacillus series. Chinese fried rice means Bacillus series. Chinese fried rice. Okay. Going further, the next is Clostridium tetani. Tetany causes tetanus. It's a known fact. Blood agar is used for it. Ground easy. So you are playing in the ground. You are playing, for example, cricket in the ground. So while playing cricket in the ground, you step on a glass, you step on a broken glass piece, you get injured. So you are bleeding on that place, blood agar. So from your blood, it is soil, right? You're playing on ground. So from that soil, from your injury, the tetanus enters. So if you remember this, you will remember ground glass appearance, you will remember blood agar. So tetanus, ground glass appearance, blood agar. Am I clear here? Okay, very good. Now, next is Clostridium botulinum. Next is Clostridium botulinum. So Clostridium botulinum means you have to remember egg yolk agar, you have to remember iridescent layer around colonies, and then it causes botulism. I don't think so you need a specific mnemonic for this. So remember egg yolk agar, iridescent layer around colonies. Okay. So the usual mnemonic I can say here is, you can remember I bought eggs. I bought eggs. Bought is for botulinum, I is for iridescent layer, X is for egg yolk agar. If you want to note it down, you can note it down. I bought eggs. So I is for iridescent layer, bought is for botulinum, X is for egg yolk agar. Okay. The next topic is Clostridium perfringens. Blood agar is used. Hemolytic colony is used. Gas gangrene and food poisoning is caused. Gas gangrene, food poisoning is caused. Also, it causes something called necrotizing enterocolitis. NEC, necrotizing enterocolitis, is also caused by Clostridium perfringens. Gas gangrene, food poisoning, necrotizing enterocolitis. So these are caused by Clostridium perfringens. Okay. Next, Clostridium difficile. So Clostridium difficile, CCF egg yolk agar is used. There's a H, sorry for that. CCF egg yolk agar is used. Yellow colonies and ground glass appearance is seen. Pseudomembranous colitis is caused by Clostridium perfringens. Clostridium difficile. So when it comes to Clostridium difficile, you won't need to know about the colonies. All you need is CCF egg yolk agar and pseudomembranous colitis. Only these two words you need to know. So antibiotic over usage of yesterday itself we saw over usage of antibiotics will cause pseudomembranous colitis. This is because of Clostridium difficile infection. While we are reading pharma, we told metronidazole is the drug of choice for it. So metronidazole, if that doesn't work, vancomycin. So metronidazole is usually given. We will wait for 48 hours, that is 2 days, 48 hours. If that doesn't work, we will change it to vancomycin. Side effect of vancomycin we saw, that is Redman syndrome. Yesterday we saw Redman syndrome. So metronidazole is the drug of choice. That is the point you need to know. So overuse of antibiotics leads to pseudomembranous colitis. We check in CCF egg yolk agar, it is Clostridium difficile. So Clostridium difficile, I want you to remember C, C, C. C is for CCF agar, C is for colitis, C is for antibiotics, which can be clindamycin, cephalosporin. Clindamycin and cephalosporin. Clindamycin, cephalosporin. So C, 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 that is for Clostridium difficile. Okay. The next one is Corynebacterium diphtheriae. Corynebacterium diphtheriae means LSS media and potassium tellurite agar is used. LSS is Loeffler serum slope. Loeffler serum slope, because they can ask directly about low flow serum slope. If that time, if you don't know the complete form of LSS, you might be struck up. So LSS media, potassium tellurate agar, short form of potassium tellurate agar is KTA or PTA. PTA agar. Okay. Okay, fine. So cuneiform arrangement is seen and it causes diphtheria, Corynebacterium diphtheria. So Corynebacterium diphtheria, yeah, Corynebacterium diphtheria is first of all Chinese letter pattern or club shaped. It is club shaped, Chinese letter like cuneiform arrangement, okay, CCC. These three C are very important. Okay. Next is Listeria. So Listeria means Muller-Hinton agar. Listeria means gray-green colonies with black precipitate. Listeria means meningitis in kidney transplant patient and also cause listeriosis. Now Listeria causes a lot of things, but first point I want you to remember, Listeria grows at 4 degrees Celsius. That is very important. And Listeria has something called tumbling motility. That is very important. We'll be seeing about that anyway. So tumbling motility is seen in Listeria. Tumbling motility is seen in Listeria. Grows at 4 degrees Celsius is Listeria. So Listeria grows at 4 degrees Celsius. Muller-Hinton agar is used. Gray-green colonies with black precipitate is seen. Meningitis in kidney transplant patient. Listeria can also cause food poisoning. Listeria can cause meningitis. Listeria can cause chorioamnionitis. So meningitis and chorioamnionitis is something you must remember. Meningitis and chorioamnionitis is something you must remember. Okay, so for remembering all of them, Listeria, remember it as a guy who is holding a tumbler in his hand, which has a frozen or cold water which is of 4 degrees Celsius, and this guy, this girl is pregnant. So chorioamnionitis, stillbirth, abortion, all those risks is there in Listeria. This is a girl. She is having meningitis also. Her kidney is recently transplanted. So kidney is gone, recently transplanted. Kidney transplant patient with meningitis. Listeria. Listeria can also cause neonatal meningitis. It can affect the mother, it can affect the child as well. Neonatal meningitis. So this Listeria is usually found in fish or milk or meat. So fish or milk, uncooked raw milk or fish. Okay, remember this woman is having a dress which is of green color. So green color dress, she is wearing a green color dress. Okay, so gray-green colonies with black precipitate. Gray-green colonies with black precipitate. At least you must remember green colonies. Okay. Okay, that is it about Listeria. I hope this picture is clear. Then the next one is Nocardia. So Nocardia means bacterial broth, blood agar, chocolate agar, beaded appearance, powdery appearance. Nocardiosis, it causes something called nocardiosis. So bacterial broth, blood agar, beaded appearance. So Nocardia means B. Okay, beaded appearance, bacterial broth, and blood agar. So these three B you must remember. Okay, along with that powdery appearance. Next is actinomycetes. Actinomycetes means yes, you must remember. Sinus swelling, sulfur granules. Sulfur granules, spidery colonies, that is also there. Spidery colonies, sinus swelling, sulfur granules, and spidery colonies. So these are important. And one more S I will add here, that is for soy agar. Soy agar. So 5S you are going to remember for actinomycetes. Sinus, swelling, sulfur granule, spidery colonies, and soy agar. Along with that, polymyxin B is something that you must remember. Polymyxin B, powdery white colonies. Okay, polymyxin B and powdery white colonies. Next is Neisseria meningitidis. Next is Neisseria meningitidis. Muller-Hinton agar, Thayer-Martin media is used. It is lens-shaped and capsulated. It causes meningitis. Complication is Waterhouse-Friderichsen syndrome. Waterhouse-Friderichsen syndrome. So contrast with meningitis is gonorrhea. Both are Neisseria infections. Thayer-Martin media, modified New York agar is used. Kidney-shaped. It causes gonorrhea, urethritis, neonatal conjunctivitis, water can perineum, Fitz-Hugh-Curtis syndrome, and septic arthritis. So for this comparing contrast of Neisseria meningitidis and Neisseria gonorrhea, you might require a picture. Okay, so for this you might require a picture. So Neisseria meningitidis, this is meningitis, this is gonorrhea. Meningitis is like a lens shaped, gonorrhea is like a kidney shaped. That is first thing. Meningitis has a capsule, gonorrhea does not have a capsule. Okay, that is the second point that you need to remember. So both of them has something in common, that is Thayer-Martin media. So this guy name is Martin, this guy name is also Martin. So Thayer-Martin media, you can remember like this. Let it be meningitis or gonorrhea. So where it differs is Muller-Hinton agar is for meningitis, and modified New York agar is for Neisseria. So you must remember this Martin, from gonorrhea is from New York. So this Martin is from New York. So gonorrhea, Martin, New York. So this point you must remember. So you can picturize this person, Martin, that is gonorrhea. I'm just going to draw the gonorrhea guy. I'm just going to draw the gonorrhea guy. This guy's face looks like a kidney. So you can imagine a kidney. This guy is kidney shaped. This kidney shaped guy is from New York. So I'm drawing a buildings nearby. So this guy is from New York City. Now this guy is holding a water can in his hand. This guy is holding a water can in his hand. There's a water can in his hand, and he's meeting a person. He's shaking his hand with a person. He's meeting a person whose name is, some X. So what he's trying to do is he's showing some courtesy. So Fitz-Hugh-Curtis syndrome. So courtesy stands for Curtis syndrome. Okay, for courtesy. So he is shaking hands. We know we are in COVID crisis. So shaking hands will lead to infection. So septic arthritis infection. So urethritis infection. After shaking hands, if he goes and pass urine, he is going to get infected. So urethritis, septic arthritis, the bones will be affected, septic arthritis. Okay, he will take his hand to his face. So conjunctivitis can be there. Or if he touches the face of a baby, neonatal conjunctivitis. So conjunctivitis, everything. So you need to remember water can perineum, courtesy, that is Curtis syndrome. He's shaking hand, that is going to cause infection, septic arthritis and urethritis. While passing urine, he'll get urethritis. He's kidney shaped person. He does not wear a cap. There is no cap for him. So this picture you must remember. He's from New York, so modified New York agar. Modified New York agar. Okay, am I clear here? Everyone? Very good. So till now, all the points we saw with some memorizing aids. So you must not make mistake in any of these MCQs. Then we go to the next one. That is E. coli, Escherichia coli. Very important one, E. coli. So E. coli usually has 5 types. I did not show here. So that is toxigenic type, toxigenic, that causes traveler's diarrhea, Okay. This is where you must focus on your exam. Toxigenic traveler's diarrhea. Then hemorrhagic type, that is going to cause hemolytic uremic syndrome. Hemorrhagic type, that is hemolytic uremic syndrome. That is the second place you are going to focus. Hemolytic uremic syndrome. Infective type, that is going to cause infection or inflammation. This is invasive. Okay, invasive type, that is going to cause either infection or inflammation. So you can see the infections here: sepsis, meningitis, pneumonia. So infection type. Aggregative type, that is going to cause diarrhea. That's going to cause diarrhea. ETEC, EHEC, EIEC, EAEC. Aggregative, invasive, hemolytic uremic syndrome, that is H, hemorrhagic type. T for traveler's diarrhea, toxigenic type. So these are highly important. Okay, so you must focus on them. So here if you see smack media is used and McConkey broth is used, it shows again pink colony and stacked brick appearance. So stacked brick appearance comes in aggregative type. That's why I told these types. Aggregative type means stacked brick appearance, which means in your intestines, E. coli goes and stacks in one place, that is stacked brick appearance. So you can remember that way. Then pink colonies are seen. Then smack media, McConkey broth. So diseases, I already said, main disease you need to focus is hemolytic uremic syndrome and meningitis. These two are the main symptoms that you need to see. Okay, and UTI in young female is because of Escherichia coli. UTI in young female, you have to think of E. coli most of the times. E. coli. UTI in young female, married female, meningitis, and hemolytic uremic syndrome. These 3 points you must remember. So for E. coli, I'm not making any mnemonic. It's a vast topic. You must read everything. There is no skipping points in E. coli actually. Okay. Okay. So we will go to the next one. That is Salmonella typhi. So typhoid means, Salmonella typhi causes typhoid fever. So typhoid means the first point you have to remember is step ladder pattern fever. The fever will keep on spiking. Step ladder pattern fever, like you're going in a steps. Step ladder pattern fever. Okay. Typhoid means you have to remember rose spots. Rose spots in abdomen or chest is typhoid. So these 2 points is very important. Jet black colonies are formed in typhoid fever. Selenite broth, tetrathianate broth, selenite F broth, it is selenite F broth, tetrathianate broth, DCA media, HE agar, Wilson black media, buffered glycerol, saline is the transport media. So all these points are important. All these points are important. Okay, that is Salmonella typhi. Next, Pseudomonas. Pseudomonas means you have to remember King's media and Cetrimide agar, pearlescent appearance, musty smell, sepsis in burns patients, mainly sepsis in burns patient, and swimmer's ear endocarditis. So swimmer's ear, sepsis in burns patient. These 2 points you must remember. Pseudomonas, of course, is going to cause pneumonia. So at least these sepsis, burns patients, pneumonia, swimmer's ear. These 3 points are important. So Pseudomonas, pearlescent appearance, musty smell, King's media, Cetrimide agar. Okay, Shanghai fever, swimmer's ear, osteomyelitis, pneumonia, sepsis in burns patient, everything. So to make you memorize it, the best way is again a picture. So you must remember a king. You must remember a king who is holding his. A king is holding his scepter in his hand. So he's holding a scepter in his hand. So King's media and Cetrimide agar. Scepter means Cetrimide agar. King's media, Cetrimide agar. So king is wearing pearls. King is wearing pearls. So pearlescent appearance. The king is, the order he is getting is a musty order. So musty smell. Pearlescent appearance, musty smell. So these points you must remember. So what happens? He see a person who is getting burnt in front of him. He's using petrol on him and he is getting burnt in front of this king. This is the king of Shanghai. This is the king of Shanghai. So Shanghai fever. So this king sees a patient who is burning. So what he does, he kicks this person inside a swimming pool so that this person becomes all right. So the person falls in the swimming pool. So burns patient is going to get infected. So sepsis in burns patient jumps on the swimming pool. So swimmer's ear. For doing this, for kicking this person, this king is heartless. He's not feeling any emotion. So the heart is affected. That is endocarditis. Endocarditis. Okay. While seeing this person burning, the fire fell on the eyes of the king and it causes ulcer. That is corneal infection. It infected the cornea of the king. The corneal infection he got because of the burns. He is getting corneal infection. So corneal infection, and the same burns is entering his lungs. So his lungs are affected again. So that is infection, that is pneumonia. The king is getting pneumonia. Okay. The burns are falling in his feet. So he kicked the person, right? So here the burns has destroyed his bones. So bones are destroyed. That is osteomyelitis. So the bones are destroyed. The lungs are destroyed. The eyes are destroyed. The person who is on burns, he's finally in the swimming pool. So swimmer's ear. Okay, swimmer's ear. Burns in sepsis patient. Pneumonia for the king. Bones are gone. Osteomyelitis. He is heartless. The king is heartless. So endocarditis. The king is holding a scepter. That is Cetrimide agar. He's a king. So king's media. He's wearing pearls. That is pearlescent appearance. And the king is smelling like musty smell. So all these picture will help for cracking all the MCQs that is coming from Pseudomonas. Pseudomonas is a vast topic, but if you remember these points, you can easily crack this MCQ. Am I clear here? Very good. Okay. So we'll continue further. So this picture you should never forget. Then the next is Shigella. Shigella means it causes bacillary dysentery and hemolytic uremic syndrome. So Sachs buffer media is used, DCA agar is used, HE agar is used, McConkie agar is used. Pale yellow colonies are produced. So Shigella, actually, you need to remember all these colonies and you need to remember all these points. But first point I want you to remember, Shigella means you must remember bacillary dysentery, because that is most commonly asked MCQ. Okay, so I hope I'm clear here. I repeat, Shigella is Sachs buffer media, deoxycholate citrate agar, He agar, McConkie agar, pale yellow colonies, bacillary dysentery, hemolytic uremic syndrome. Okay, so these are points for Shigella.